Ahoy, ladies and gents, how are you doing? How the devil? Welcome to the BBC Spews Live. What's the date? It's the 30th of January 2023, and I'm sure we're going to find a load of absolute shite to talk about because we're living in crazy time. You know it and I know it. Who's in? Let's have a quick look. Crikey. You're champing at the bit today, over 200s. Well, you're not all getting a name drop then, unfortunately. Alas, with popularity comes anonymity. I'll tell you what, I'll do the bottom 10. Who's in? Christ, it's going too fast for me today. Blue Van Man's in now then. Slim. Gwynad up. That's too Welsh. Gwynad Need. Richard Erickson, Stevie Horn, Derek McManus, Michael G, New Fish, Baldo, Sadwings, Brother Lestat, and Tony Keogh and Welsh Warrior. Right, that'll have to do you. Christ, I can't name drop 224 people. What do you want me to do? There's loads of good stuff today. Before I came on and started reading the BBC, though, I watched a little bit of We Got a Problems, latest one. Well, not latest one. One of We Got a Problems videos where he neatly catalogued all of the absolute wankers gobbing off about the old the Rona. And I just want to play you 10 seconds, well, 20 seconds of this. I thought this absolute chiseler, Mark Ryan Parsons. I don't even know who he is. I don't know who he is, what he does, where he comes from, how many cocks he sucked to get on the telly. I don't even know. But just look at this wanker here. Let me just put this fucking penis up. I just hope it puts it in at the time I was watching, because I bet it doesn't. And then I'm back to... No, it wasn't Rod Stewart.
Booster. And when you see people who will not take it...
Yeah, this wanker here.
It's said. How do you feel the same way I do? Does that make you angry?
It makes me angry. You are a killer.
It is...
This twat here. Let's listen to this twat.
Beyond boring now, listening to under 30s sanctimoniously preaching from their high horse because somehow they think they're immune from the virus and they don't have to...
That, in fact, I'll stop you there. That was just the bit that annoyed me the most, right? He says, a bloke who is towing the party line, he says, sanctimoniously preaching from their high horse. This fucking dickhead. Now, I don't know what planet he's living on, but although I do, don't I? I do, because I cover this all year round. At the end of the day, we're living in an era where up really is down and left really is right. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, like I've talked about, you can literally be a person who's had the jab. You can have had double jabbed and then be talking to talk radio and ring them up and say, I had 2 jabs, but I just because I'm at risk and I was uncomfortable with it because it wasn't tested a lot. And I just think people should be allowed to make their own choice. And they will call that person an anti-vaxxer. So what do you do with that? What do you do with that? It's as I said, up is down, left is right. We're living in an era where the truth is completely upside down and back to front. And we knew it was coming because that is exactly what the likes of Aldous Huxley and George Orwell and all the clever people that are vaunted and revered because of their sagacity, the fact that they knew what was coming and they just nailed it to a T. And Orwell specifically mentioned this. When every book, the books have been burned, the histories have been rewritten, and we live in the endless present. They can tell you whatever they want. It's mind-blowing. Like it's like showing you just a piece of cardboard with the colour red on it. You know, like on Liar when he's trying to lie about his pen. And the mainstream media will go, it's fucking blue, that. And it doesn't matter how many times you say, no, it's definitely red. They'll go, nah. You just think that because of your prejudice. It's fucking blue. That's the world we're living in. As I said, it's like getting caught with your fist in a bucket of KFC and getting accused of being a vegan, licking a frozen chicken's arsehole, and they'll go, oh, vegan. It's got no time for a vegan. We're living in a fantasy land. Clown world is the sort of modern term for it, based off that amusing meme. But it really is shocking. But for a bloke who's on the telly alongside Piers Morgan and all of the mainstream media in total lockstep with the government to accuse people that are banned, silenced. I got deleted and banned for a pro skeptical approach to COVID. Is all I did. I didn't say don't get a jab. I didn't say that I thought it was a conspiracy theory. I just said Peter Hitchens called it. This is like 2 years ago. I said Peter Hitchens was right on the money. If it was mooching around in December, January, there's no point in doing a lockdown in March. It makes no sense to me. And they instantly banned me, deleted me, cancelled me, and put me on the shit list. And my channel was basically I was losing viewers for about a year. I've only suddenly crested a wave in the last 3 months after having a long conversation with a YouTube employee who denied that any such strangling takes place. But then all of a sudden, I've got thousands more subscribers in the last couple of months. Weird that, innit? But it's like I didn't even say anything negative, but they still banned me. So for these twats to be on their high horse, I mean, this is why he annoyed me so much. That sentence he used can never ever be pointed at someone who was skeptical. Because look what he says. Sorry, listen to what he says. Sanctimoniously preaching from their high horse. What fucking high horse? You haven't even got a hobby horse. You haven't got a rocking horse. You haven't got horse shit. If you disagree with this sanctimonious high horse upper crust twat. Oh, you didn't hear it? Well, that's what he said. Fuck knows why. Oh, yeah, that's why, because it was the wrong fucking tab. Here.
Right, it's my freedom.
Shut up, Rod.
It's not, because you are a killer.
It is beyond boring now listening to under 30s sanctimoniously preaching from their high horse because somehow.
Yeah, sanctimoniously preaching from the high horse. Like I said, you've got to be living in La La Land. Living in La La Land. It's like what we're going to do next. Award Mick Philpott Parent of the Year. Like that's what we're doing. Diane Abbott's going to win. Diane Abbott's going to be the next championship jockey. Yeah, can you imagine that big fat roly-poly cunt sitting on the fucking back of Red Rum? It'd be dead just instantly. Splays its legs so it's like a squashed fucking spider. As soon as she sits on its back. This is what the world we're living in. Like they can go on the television and tell the abused, actually marginalised, genuinely marginalised underclass that have dared to dissent, that they're the ones sanctimoniously preaching from the high horse. I mean, can you believe that? As I said, it's mental. It's mental. It boggles my mind. But I feel as if I can't put it into words how ridiculous it is. Like, I just want to feel like blowing something up. Like, because I've talked about this before, the reason people are so angry about hypocrisy is because there's something primal in your brain that makes you flip out when someone says to you, you aren't allowed to do this. Oh, this is the worst thing in the world. And then they do it because it's like lying on steroids, isn't it? It's not just lying. It's lying and then knowing you're lying, rubbing people's face in the fact you're lying. That's why hypocrisy is bad. Like telling someone lies is annoying. But hypocrisy is the worst of the worst. It's why everybody, when I was a young lad in the 20s, you know, when I was a young liberal lad in my 20s who was a pretty militant atheist, it's what put me on that road was the hypocrisy of the preachers, right? Because you'd see like some American preacher going on about how evil sodomy and gay sex was. And they'd go on about it all the time. Like, there wouldn't even be, they'd be giving a sermon and someone had mentioned like the nice blue sky and they'd say, oh, you know what that reminds me of? Could be a blue hotel room with a fucking big burly rent boy getting bummed senseless and it's evil. And the reason he's going into such detail about the big burly rent boy is because the guy is a fucking, not just a homosexual, a rampaging, screaming, galloping homosexual who spends every day getting lubed up and bummed senseless but he's going on telly and telling everybody, oh, you can't be gay. Oh, it's the worst thing in the world. It's the hypocrisy that makes people like super angry. And to see these people constantly doing it genuinely knocks me fucking sick. It needed the F word. I nearly just said knocks me sick. It knocks me fucking sick. It's disgraceful. It's like they keep calling people, yeah, there we go, an enthusiastic homosexual, an absolute gobble queen. All right? Literally has to spit a sailor's cock out every time he needs to eat his breakfast. He can't take on solid food without spitting a sailor's cock out. It's unbelievable. And that is what fills me with hate and loathing. It's the hypocrisy. I think that's why we're in a bad place as well, because hypocrisy drives you mad with rage. And they're all doing it now. They call everyone marginalised. It's like black people make up like 10% of the UK. Less than that, it's probably about 8. But they make up 50% of all the people on telly. 60% of all the people that get the best jobs. 60% of black kids on free school meals go to university, compared to 5% of white kids on free school meals. So there's loads of concrete metrics you can point at to say there is a genuinely marginalised underclass in the UK, and it is poor white people that live in council estates. Because if you're black and you live in a council estate, you're probably still going to go to Oxford or Cambridge, or you're probably still going to end up on Sky fucking Sports, or you're still going to end up on a Morrison's advert. So there's an actual underclass, an oppressed, marginalised underclass in the UK. And they are the ones being stomped on, like they're grinding them into the dust. It's not enough to just beat them. The immigrants and the ethnic minorities in the UK, the militant ones like Dr. Shola, they've won. They've won, and they know they've won, and we know they've won, but they're not happy with that. They have to keep gloating. And it's, as I've told you before, it's because they want to drive you mad. And you have to do what I do and try and approach it with humour. Because if you don't see the funny side of it, you will see the fuck it, attack the Houses of Parliament with an AK-47 side of it. And if you do that, you've failed at life, because it gets you nowhere and it makes all the people who share your views look like a fucking idiot. So it's another thing. People like me have never advocated violence, but I'm sure they've deleted my videos for it before. I think the first time I ever got a ban was just because I was slagging off the dinghy divers about 2.5 years ago. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is hate. Yeah, this is hate. You want to kill people. It's like, no, I don't. You do. People like the communists do. Dr. Shola keeps getting put on television because she spews genuinely hateful rhetoric about white people when they are the oppressed, marginalised underclass, and they're sitting there with nothing in a council estate, living off microchips, and then that every time they turn the telly on, there's black people all over it, lecturing them about how they're evil, in $2,000 suits, in expensive recording studios, doing coke and foie gras, telling them they're the bad guys. And the hypocrisy of that statement, when you're living in pure shit, makes you want to go mental and stab people in the eye. So I provide a fucking important service because it's the humour. You need to basically be able to look at it all and laugh at how hilarious it is that we're living in clown world where everything is upside down and back to front. I don't know how many times I can keep talking about without retreading the same ground, but it's like calling the shortest guy in the room the tallest man in the world. We're just living in a crazy, crazy time. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to get you to be angry, and they want you to get violent. Interestingly, I'll have to look for the story. My missus said that she read a piece. I don't know where she found it, but she was telling me how basically she read a piece that said, essentially, things started getting so bad at the height of the pandemic that the elites noticed that it was getting really bad and purposely want to avoid another sort of French Revolution. So they purposely ramped up the race baiting and the rhetoric because they make sure that right and left, the masses are fighting amongst themselves all the time. so they don't turn their eyes skyward and see who's actually oppressing them, right? Who's really got the fucking boots on the throat. And it makes a lot of sense, because why would they constantly put people like Dr. Scholler on TV all the time? Like, it's just making people hate. You're putting her on the telly in front of poor people who've got a shit life, and they watch a fat black woman in a 10 grand dress, and she goes on about, because even that, I'm not just throwing an insult at her, she's fat because she's eating Marks and Spencer Gatto all fucking day, right? She's a big, fat, pampered, arrogant, rich cunt in a big, fat, pampered, arrogant, rich cunt outfit with big, fat, pampered, rich cunt hair and big, fat, pampered, rich cunt jewellery on telly, which is quite a privileged position, saying, all you people at home watching, you're evil and you're oppressing me. And I'm on TV, and Meghan Markle's a royal going, oh, yeah, I'm oppressed me. And Oprah Winfrey's sitting across from her going, yeah, Meghan oppressed me. And a load of angry white men are sitting in caravans and trailer parks and cardboard boxes going, you know what? Get the fucking... Hey, Cletus, get the grenades out. They want you to be mental, so you've just got to keep laughing at it. Because that's what they want. That's what they want. And you cannot blame the flock, really, can you? The genuinely true believing flock can't really be blamed when they're being conditioned by the woke hate preachers. Like, I mean, I take the piss out of them all. I don't hate the woke. I loathe them. No, I'm kidding. I mean, it's basically a synonym. I don't hate them. They just... What's the word? It isn't hatred. I mock them for their stupidity. I pity them for their ignorance. You can't hate the woke because the majority of them are being conditioned by the hate preachers. And if you're a real true believer, it's not your fault. Do you know what I mean? Like I was talking earlier about the preachers. Lewis Hamilton's another good one, yeah. Fucking Lewis Hamilton, yeah. He's oppressed. He's been a spoiled middle-class arsehole his entire life. That's how he got into F1. And then he walks around looking like holy fucking shit. Like Stevie Wonder pulled clothes at random out of the clothes bank behind the Salvation Army hostel and went, put all them on. And then he sprayed them all lumescent. I mean, that bloke really does get dressed in the fucking dark. He gets dressed in the dark in a flamboyant rent boy's apartment in Hollywood. Like, have you seen the way he dresses? And his outfit costs about 10 grand. And what I'm saying is, it's like the preachers from back in the day. You know, the ones that were sucking the rent boys off were the ones that were going into the podiums and saying, God hates the homosexuals. And then the flock take it to heart and genuinely hate the homosexuals. They genuinely hate them because they've been conditioned to. But the guy who's doing the rabble-rousing is sitting on his rent boy's face. Yeah. He spends all night sniffing fucking coke, which he's railed against, and doing meth, muffing a rent boy's ring piece, off his tits, ripped to the tits on ease and wobbly eggs. And these are the people who do all the conditioning. And that's what I'm saying. People like Scholler. It makes sense to hate her because she's obviously an authority figure. But the flock, you can't hate the flock because they've just been conditioned. And you can see how it is part of the plan, because why is Scholler on TV all the time? She's not doing anything. She's not doing anything useful. She's not talking about anything useful. She's not, you know, it's not like the Open University. Like, you're not learning anything when you watch Dr. fucking Scholler on TV. She pops up on Twitter every day now. It's like they're doing it on purpose because they want to drive you mad. So don't get mad. Just have a chuckle. Because it is funny. It is funny how you can have a head full of horse shit and still sit there thinking you're the cleverest person in the fucking room. Because that's what these people do. The amount of people who call me ignorant, genuinely, it's staggering. Because I've got like, what have I got now? About 900 videos in the public sphere. I've got probably thousands of hours. No, not thousands. Because maybe I stream for an hour. I don't know anyway. Hundreds of hours I've got hundreds of hours of content in me. And I can answer. You can call me many things. Hairy, short, although I'm only 5'9". I mean, it's short when you're a Royal Marine and you're surrounded by big, tall, buff fellas. I was always called a fucking Ewok because I was the short, hairy one. But I mean, 5'9" is not that short. Call me short, call me hairy, call me devastatingly handsome. Oh no, not that one. That's positive. Call me male pattern baldness. Got a bit of that going on. That's not good. But what I'm not is ignorant. I spend every day, because I do this, call me a lefty tosser, sad wings, you got that one right. You can call me many things, but you can't call me ignorant, because I spend all day, not all day, but every day I read the news at length, and I read, when I don't understand a point, I learn about it. I'll go on Wikipedia, I'll read about it. I read the BBC every day, I read the Guardian every day. I have to know what my enemy thinks. I've read the I was going to say the holy book that begins with a Q or a K if you're not spelling it properly. And that the blokes who go to the Bell End churches love. They love that book. I've read that. I read it when I was in Afghanistan. Geography is excellent. I probably been to about 30 American states now. I've been all around the world. I read a lot. I think a lot. My general knowledge is spot on. I'm always top drawer in a fucking pub quiz. Call me many, many things, but not ignorant. But that's the first thing they call you. The first thing that a woke, degenerate, commie activist calls you is ignorant. And I'm like, yeah, but if me and you went head to head on one of them quiz machines in a pub, I'd destroy you, because I know things, because I have a broad selection. I know all the top writers at The Guardian and all the top writers at the Daily Mail. I'm interested in both sides of the argument. They aren't. And the first thing they call is ignorant. And it just makes me laugh. Like, they don't know anything. They don't know anything. They've got no real world skills, no common sense. All they know is being a fucking activist. And they look down at people like you and me, dear listener. It's quite staggering. Right. Will you be my phone a friend? Yeah, ring me. I'm good at that shit. I'm spot on at pub quizzes. So we'll have to do one news story rather than me just ranting all day, won't we? What's a good one? We don't want calm. I'm now black pills, right? I need maximum chaos. I need anyone who voted for the likes of Anthony Blinken. I mean, everyone knows what Anthony Blinken's made of, and Joe Biden and Kamala, ankle grabber, absolute rattle leaking jizz bowser Harris. Unbelievable. Getting rinsed by a pensioner just so she can climb the greasy pole of power. And in her case, really was literally climbing the greasy pole of power, because Willie there had a cock like a gnarled branch. He's been up more sluts than you can shake a stick at, because he's a corrupt politician. But these scumbags need to witness where their stupidity leads them. And if we don't get chaos in the Middle East, they might labour under the delusion for the next couple of years that Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken and the like have done a good job, and they haven't done a good job. So I hope there's chaos in fucking Jerusalem. Trump got it, so there was peace in Jerusalem, and he sorted things out with North Korea, and there was no new wars. Biden's got the economy's fucked, my 401k's halved, gas prices doubled, eggs, you can't even get a fucking egg. In some parts of California, you can't get an egg. They've sold out. There's shortages of everything. People are pissed off, and I want total chaos. Now would be perfect time for Kim Jong to fire a few rockets over Japan. Perfect. And I want Hamas to start kicking off and the Israelis to mal at them. And I want the people that voted for these fucknuts to sit there stewing and realise what they've done, which has caused a catastrophe. Caused a fucking catastrophe, because they're flirting with an ideology that we know has ruined the world time and time and time and time again. And this is what I'm saying about ignorance. If you talk to a woke kid and you say, what about the Great Leap? They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know what you're talking about. The Holodomor, Mao Zedong, Stalin, No, you don't even have to name the big ones. Do some smaller ones and they'll be completely fucking gone. Tito, Franco, Viscount Quisley. Bring these people up. They have no fucking idea who you're talking about. Mark Stein's the best when he said to them, if you're ever talking to one of these twats and they call you ignorant, let's go, yeah? What's the capital of Saudi Arabia? They don't fucking know. They don't know anything. They don't know any of those blokes I've just reeled off. Oh, well, 1984, what are we talking about? Because they don't know anything in antiquity. All they know is this new ideology. They don't know anything from the old days, because if they knew anything from the old days, they wouldn't be communists, would they? They wouldn't be communists. If they actually knew what happened when Mao Zedong started fucking starving everyone to death, they wouldn't be sitting there going, oh, it's mint. All we need is for everyone to be equitable. It's ridiculous. So, fuck them, is the short version. I want it to kick off. Blinken, you useless twat. I want it to kick off. I hope Blinken comes home with shit in his pants because he's that close to getting his throat cut by a fucking crazy ass Hamas insurgent who manages to burst into the press office. So anyway, I'm not talking about that. That's not worth discussing at length. I just hope it kicks off. Ryan Reynolds, this is news, isn't it? Half the fucking world's on fire. And that's the fourth story on BBC homepage. Ryan Reynolds treated a fan to the Wrexham match. Whippy bastard, do. Are you going to feed him? Because he might need a hand with that soon enough, son. Police targeted as Pakistan. Big Golden Bell End church bomb kills 59. Brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, I didn't see that coming. And again, these stories are always relevant, aren't they? Because people in the West are sitting there actually thinking that it's shit living in Ohio. They're like, oh, my people. Oh, I wish my people had culture like yours, Akbar. And he's like, hello, Akbar. Yeah. Oh, I wish my people had culture like yours. You see it, I read about this ages ago. I remember reading about, I think it was even in a Richard Dawkins book, because it might have been The God Delusion. At points in it, he touches on the fact that this far left thing was becoming popular in America. And you'd have like professors saying, it is sort of weird to me when I get a young student come over at me and say, oh, I wish I was Native American. My culture's never done anything. And I'm like, what? Like invented antibiotics? That doesn't count as anything, does it? Like, you've got loads to be proud of if you're an American. Got loads to be proud of if you're an Anglo. It's like, yeah, we did loads of good shit. They don't know any of that. So they'll go up to a Native American or an Aborigine from Australia and go, oh, I wish I had a glorious culture like you, Mr. Aboriginal man that lives in a fucking shed and drinks moonshine and knocks 10 bells of shite out of his missus 7 days a week. I wish I had culture like you, mate. And then we've got like John Logie Baird, and we've got blokes who invented televisions and the internet and telephones and telegrams and fucking telomeres. I've run out of T's to talk about. We've got the pioneers of life-saving science. We've got Florence fucking Nightingale and Isaac Newton and Michael Faraday and Edmund Halley. And they'll go to a Zulu and go, I wish I could get 12 brass rings around my fucking neck. Come off it. Come off it. Anybody watching this, if you walk, seriously, I don't hate you. I don't. But just read. Just the joking aside, of course, there was good aspects of all cultures, whether it's Japan or China or even, I'm sure, I know very little about the Aboriginal people. I do have some scorn for, because to me, my knowledge of it appears that they hadn't even invented the fucking wheel. But I'm sure they have like nice stories, some culture, instruments. Yeah, they have didgeridoos and boomerangs, and in their own way, they have things. So there's stuff. But there's loads of good stuff to be proud of if you're an Anglo. You should love it. Like, the amount of shit we did. Basically, we ended the slave trade. No one really put any real effort into it until English philosophers. People like William Wilberforce. That's your heritage if you're a Yorkshireman. It's amazing, you know. They didn't see almost ended slavery in like Spain and go, oh, nearly, we'll just add it. They just invented it. They went, you know what? This seems immoral. And they just did it. Some of them, again, are going to be wankers who just jumped on it when it started becoming popular. But the real pioneers of that stuff, they just did it. They did amazing things. Graham Bell, Isaac Newton, there's loads of amazing ones. And people are sitting there going, oh, I wish I was in a Pakistan mosque. Oh, no, I said the M word. I wish I was in Perth, Golden Bell End Church. Yeah, I wish I was there. Yeah, well, again, if you've read a history book and you actually know, you are proud. And maybe that's a reason why conservative-minded people can have a chuckle and a laugh and enjoy the fucking life. Like, I enjoy my life. The channel's called the Angry Bootneck because it's a laugh. I almost get into character when I do this. I channel the rage because when I'm in a bad mood, I come up with a lot of humorous similes, right? But in my real life, I remember I got banned off one of the biggest message boards on the internet back in the day. Some of you guys, I know some 40k people might be aware of this, was dakadaka.com. And I used to go on there probably about like 10 years since I've gone on because I got banned. But again, it was because there was an off-topic forum that was meant to be off-topic, but they didn't want you talking about right-wing politics. So you'd go in the off-topic forum and there'd all be these lefty arseholes. There was some proper lefty arsehole moderators on there. Kill Crazy's one. I hated that guy. Some proper hypocritical lefty arsehole who would constantly fucking gob off about lefty shite. And then when I popped up and went, yeah, but that's a load of fucking bollocks, they'd go, oh, banned, oh, he's harassing me. When I'm angrily talking about politics, I'm channeling it. In person, I'm a jovial chap. If I'm not cracking jokes in the pub, it's not me. It's an evil clone. I'm a humorous person. I'm always in the best mood and the most jovial when I'm in a public place talking to people. I'm a talker and I live to tell jokes and have a laugh. And I think maybe that's another thing because I'm a conservative person and I'm aware of my past and my people. And it fills me with pride and it makes me happy to think I won the lottery of life. No, because I don't deserve any credit for that. You don't deserve any credit for Edmund Halley correctly predicting a fucking comet was going to come back when half the people in the world still thought it was flat. The guy was a fucking paragon, an absolute genius. Michael Faraday, one of the greatest scientific inventors of all fucking time. Basically, I don't deserve any credit for that, but I'm pleased and proud that I happen to have some tiny connection to those people just because I won the lottery and I was born in Northeast England. And you don't get many people saying that, do you? Which is what I'm talking about while being happy. Most people live in Northeast England, look around and go, holy shit, I'm living inside a giant arsehole. But not me, because I'm conservative. I have a happy, thankful worldview. And I enjoyed myself in Iraq. I enjoyed myself in Afghanistan. I enjoyed walking around Sierra Leone, seeing dead bodies tied to trees with a fucking burning tyre on the neck and thinking, it's still better than walking down Linthorpe Road in Middlesbrough. I'm a jovial person. And I still saw more corpses in the car park of Aldi on Teesside Park than I ever saw in Afghanistan. So I've been lucky. I'm a lucky man. And that's my mentality. That's why these people are always in a fucking bad mood. Think about it. It really is going to permeate in your life, isn't it? Because if you genuinely think that you're a bad person, that you're evil, it's got to affect you. Think about it. Serial killers don't live to a ripe old age, do they? Because deep down, Ian Huntley knows he's an arsehole, right? It's not a coincidence that Fred West fucking topped himself, right? Because people who are convinced that the bad people are never going to be truly happy, are they? Me, I sleep like a baby. Sleep like a baby because I've got my conscience. It's clear as a fucking whistle. Because I read books And they'll try and lie to you because they want you to be miserable and say, England's uniquely evil. Your history is blood, bloodshed and death. But if you read a few books and you know how utter bollocks it is, you have a whistle as you walk and a spring to your step because you feel lucky and happy and actually privileged. Actually privileged. Not this fake version. Oh, you don't get pulled over by the cops as much, Matty. No, because I don't drink 8 pints before I go for a drive. Tell the copper to suck my fucking stump and then floor it when he asks me to pull over. That's why I don't have shit from the police, you silly bastards. Even that's true now, isn't it? Even that's true now. If you look at actual police interactions, white dudes are more likely to get shot than black ones. Because the coppers know that if they slot me, nothing will happen. But if they slot a black fella, they're going to get hauled over the coals. So, like, of course, it's bollocks. You are more likely to get killed by a copper if you're a white bloke. You know it. Everybody who pays attention knows it's true. If you're a copper with an itchy trigger finger and 2 blokes jump out of the car and one of them's white or one of them's black, and you're like, right, well, I'm going to shoot one of them, you're not going to pick the black dude, are you? Because the media are going to be on your balls like white on rice. So they know. The reason they get killed more is because more of them are acting like arseholes when the coppers pull them over. Michael Brown started fully throwing massive quantities of... He was doing fucking front crawl on the copper's face. Of course he's going to get ventilated. Of course he is. If you're doing the front crawl on a copper's face, don't be surprised if you get a few bits of lead through your kidneys at 700 meters per second. Of course you are. Of course you are. So obvious to anyone who's not mentally ill. Anyway, I keep going on a tirade. Let's do one proper story, right? I'm not doing this because I don't care. I don't care. They probably improved the fucking neighbourhood, yeah? Blow it to shit. Get out a dustpan and brush. Sweep it up. Fucking hell. Good as new. The decorating, it has much improved. So yeah, nice one. Who cares? Who cares? What else have we got? Riseborough. Why? Who cares? Why is this news? Why was Iceland coming up in the chat? Shall I have a quick look for that? Iceland. What was popping up there? Someone tell me and I'll do that. Trans skater. Well, see, the trans skater one, I could do it, but that is a low-hanging fruit, that. Because I swear to God, when I went ice skating as a kid at Billingham Forum in Middlesbrough, that was where everybody used to go in Borough. Billingham Forum ice skating rink. Come on then, I'll watch it. In case anyone hasn't seen it, I'll put it up out of morbid curiosity. But honest to God, it's basically the fucker can't ice skate. I don't get it. It's worse than when I went pissed as a teenager. Here we are. Hopefully the audio will work. Yeah. Oh yeah, well I don't want to use Paul Joseph Watson's because he's got a commentary on it. Here we are, that'll do. Right, so watch this.
Alkaa luistella naismoodissa, vaikka syntyperäisin olenkin mies. Ja sieltä on niin kuin 9 vuotta aikaa, eli siihen 9 vuoteen sisältyy aika paljon.
Nearly fell over there. It's honestly like a fucking baby elephant. Like pissed Bambi on ice.
Kun lähdetään ihan nollasta, niin ihan jo sitä, että pysyy pystyssä 2 jalalla, pysyy pystyssä 1 jalalla ja sen jälkeen rupeaa niin kuin uskaltamaan tehdä jotakin siellä jäällä ja sitten alkaa pikkuhiljaa kisaamaan ja esiintymään näytöksissä ja niin edelleen, että sanotaan, että aika kivaa.
Fuck me. Even after he fell, he's tottering about like a twat look.
On ollut, mutta tietysti korona tuli vähän sitten väliin, että se sitten sotki kuvio.
So why is that a thing? Like, the reason birds, figure skaters, are sort of revered, Torvill and Dean, is because they're graceful. They're fucking graceful. That craggy-faced howler, right, that sick pig was teetering and tottering like piss Dumbo, right? And they put it on the ice. It's lunacy. Miss Trunchbull. That's very. I'm really getting a Miss Trunchbull vibe there. That is it's just lunacy. But this is what we were talking about at the very beginning of the stream. You're living in a fucking clown world. Everything is upside down. When it should be, get the most graceful figure skater. Now they go, get me the dumbest, ugliest, fattest, middle-aged bloke you can. Squeeze him in a fucking frock. and nobody said cannot laugh. It's funny. It's funny. Craggy-faced fucking Gruffalo on ice. That's what it is. Absolute madness. So brilliant. There's not that much I can say about that. See my opening 10-minute rant if you want to know what I think about that. It's not a surprise. It's just funny. Because of course it was going to happen. And next thing, Slimmer of the World's going to be Diane Abbott's left fucking ass cheek, right? Tallest man in the world, fucking Will Oafgood. Strongest woman in the world, fucking Stephen Hawking. Anything I can say that is the exact opposite of what you'd expect is where we are heading. Right? So, best pen in the world, this mug. You can make it as irreverent and as irrational as you can. It's going to happen. Because we're living in clown world. Because communists are running the show. And communists say there's no such thing as a grand narrative. There's no such thing as truth. There's no such thing as truth, is what they tell you. Everything's subjective. Mere social construct. Fuck off. Just fuck off. It's like they're the type of people who you could play football against and your 3 goals are social constructs. Oh, it's a social construct, that goal. I don't care, you've lost. Get the fuck off the pitch. Twat. I'm going to cup final, you aren't. Cup final's a social construct. Lick my balls. Everything. Oxygen's a social construct. Oh, the fucking mental. That's all there is to it, which is why it's funny. As I said, anyone can do this job. It's not a job. Anyone can do this for a hobby. Sit and read the news now and make jokes about it because we're living in a fucking crazy town. Of course, there's a craggy-faced howler in a dress on the ice. Of course there is. Of course there is. And that's what we're going to keep getting. Elite soldier, fucking brain in a jar on wheels. The world's most elite soldier. Best meal, fucking hedgehog under a fence in a field. 5-star, bellissimo. It's fucking bollocks. It's just bollocks. And if you're normal, there's no point talking about it too much. Just say, ha, it's bollocks, and then move on. What was the story? I'll do that before I leave. So more than one of you mentioned it. Something about Iceland, right? What was that? Or did I just read that wrong? Because I'm shit at multitasking. Also, there's too many of these in the fucking chat now, so I can't read it very, very easily. Anyway, no one lets me know in the chat. I'll just call it. No idea what I'm talking about. Deaf guy on it. Is there a deaf guy in the SS now? Probably. World's best sniper. Fucking boiled eggs for eyeballs. Philip Schofield. I've got the biggest. Yeah, there we go. Kenny Ainsworth's going to win that award. He's got a cock like a fucking field mouse. He'll be in the Guinness Book of Records next week. Biggest cock in the world. Cock like a rolled up ear defender. You know, little yellow ones. Cock like a rolled up ear defender. He'll be in the book next week. Whoa, look at this towering pillar of masculinity. All right, well, I can't find that story. Fuck knows. Whoever said it, you're out of luck. Oh no, I'm not doing Sam Smith's music video. I can't do it. Sam Smith's music video. Well, I'll put my Twitter profile on because I remember sharing it. I'll show you a still. That's all you're getting. Because I can't handle it. Where's that? Oh, that made me laugh. That was a response to somebody said, oh yeah, white people made Chicago, black people made Wakanda. suck on it. Like, look how good we are. The obvious takeaway from that being, if you're old boomer and you don't know what Wakanda is the homeland of Black Panther. It's a Marvel comic book character created by Jack Kirby and Stan Lee. It's fictional. So when they say, oh, yeah, they built Chicago, but we built Wakanda, it's funny because Wakanda's not real. And the meme was, in white science fiction, we can reach the stars, span the cosmos. Black science fiction, we can build a first world society, like a real one. So that made me laugh. That's a good one. But back to Sam Smith. That's fucking embarrassing, isn't it? Embarrassing. Which is why I keep telling you twats, right? Not to gob off at the Americans. British people, because we've always took the piss out the Americans, because in some way, the Americans are more openly, nakedly sort of crass than British people, right? Like, because of the unbridled capitalism of the United States compared to the UK, there is no scruples out here. If it makes money, just do it. So, like, you would have never had a Paris Hilton phenomenon in Britain. Like, you wouldn't just suck a cock on telly and all of a sudden you've got your own... Suck a cock on a leaked video and all of a sudden you've got like 20 TV shows. You know what I mean? You're like the biggest celebrity in town. It just wouldn't have happened. So we do take the piss out of the Americans in the UK. We think they're a little bit crass. We know that the Americans are a bit bad at geography because they've got a continent almost for a country and they've got so much space. It's difficult. But British people should not laugh at Americans. I keep telling you a lot of this. Americans have got the faults, but this country does function in a fashion better than the UK does. Individual British people might be better read, more learned, because they're from a tiny country, so they need to. That's what I always tell when I'm sticking up for you here, Americans in the chat. I always stick up for Americans. When British people gob off about them, when I go home, and they say, oh, Americans don't even know about like the rest of the world. It's like, yeah, because if you're British, you have to, because there's nothing there. Yeah, I'm getting to that. That's what I'm getting at. It's not their fault because they're spoiled. If you live in California, right, you've got amazing skiing. Just go to like fucking Big Bear. You've got skiing. You've got the best beaches. You've got everything. You've got jungles, deserts, the fucking lot. You're in England. Yeah, you're well-traveled. When by the time you're 11, you know all about France and Spain and Italy and India because we're a shitty, tiny little island and you have to learn about other places. You go to Spain on your holidays before you're in double figures, whereas a lot of Americans don't have passports because they don't need them. So it's not their fault. And British people should never take the piss out of Americans because their country does function after a fashion. And ours doesn't. And you would never see that fucking number in the United States. 3,300 people arrested for social media. You can take the piss out of the Americans for little things. Joshing them because they're our cousins. We're all Anglos. Got a lot of time for any Anglosphere nation. It's going to come down to us sticking together more than anything else. But you can't look down on the Americans because in the UK, 3,300 people have been arrested for social fucking media posts. Yeah, that's funny, isn't it? And any Englishman getting told that the petrol's expensive out here, fucking hell. Try living in the UK. Americans don't arrest people for social media posts. So whatever you want to say to them, they've got you beat. Checkmate, you limey fucks. Right? If you're an American and a British person says, oh yeah, well, you guys don't even have passports, just show them that meme and say, checkmate, son. Because what's more important, not being able to name the capital of fucking Lithuania or actually being able to talk without getting arrested? The US have got us beat, lads, us. I'm putting my America hat on. I'm putting my MAGA hat on today. Brits shouldn't be laughing at the Americans because that shit doesn't happen in the United States. We're worse than the Russians, for fuck's sake. It's embarrassing. I'd be less embarrassed if my nana walked in on me wanking than just seeing that. If I had to pick between the two, A, my nana seeing that meme, she's dead now, rest her soul, died a couple of years ago. A, she sees that meme, or B, she walks on me cracking a fucking Tommy tank. She walks in on me. Yeah. I'd rather she see me pulling myself off than that. I'm only glad me granny and the Queen haven't lived to see that fucking shit. Because that is embarrassing. Embarrassing. And I'll finish with Sam Smith because it's definitely up here somewhere. Oh, yeah, if you didn't see that, that was me talking about literally every single video. This is just to tell you, any people who think you make money doing YouTube, even if you've got a small to medium-sized channel like mine, you don't. Every single video I've put up, let's say I've done 50 in the last year, I think 48 of them have been demonetized. I think 2 have been monetized, and they were dead short. So I haven't even made 3 digits from YouTube. I haven't even made $100. That's how much money you get off fucking YouTube if you're right wing. So you can't accuse me of doing it for money, right? That is how bad it is. It's everything you post gets limited or completely banned. The reason that Kung Fu Jesus bus driver one got made ineligible is because that went viral and there was over 100,000 people saw it. So they instantly fucking gibbed that one, stuck an 18 rating on it, and instantly made it ineligible for anything because they fuck you. They fuck you. So don't be under any illusions there. There's the trans again. Guy Verhoff twat keeps opening his mouth. Elton John with Downs and an NHS dentist. Isn't he? That's him. Look at him. Guy Verhoff twat. Elton John, Downs, NHS dentist, Bosch. That's him. Fucking carbon copy. A pop model. Oh, yeah, I'm going to make a video about her. I have to. Helena Bonehead fucking cunt lips. Helena Bonehead cunt lips is another one of what I was ranting about at the start of the stream. The people who are the most privileged and have got the most money tell you that you're spoiled. This daughter of a fucking baron is going to tell you you're spoiled. All the actors in the UK are all bastards. Upper crust twits. Ridiculous. Yeah, there it is. That's the post I made. I guess I didn't have a photo of it. I've been a socially liberal chap for 25 years, but the clip of the new Sam Smith video makes me want to ban sex before marriage, legally mandate chastity belts, and bring back hanging. It's shocking. It's shocking. I don't even want to show you. So just see if we can find a still. I'm not showing you the video. If I show you the video, Sadwings will probably throw his computer through the fucking wall, so we can't. I'll just, yeah, there we go. There's a still. That's what he's wearing in it. Let's just leave it at that. Where is it? Oh, yeah, I'm on a different one. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's wearing. I'm not showing you the footage because Sadwings will use his entire year's supply of RPGs to blast his fucking TV into smithereens. So we're not. I'm not even going to show you it. Suffice it to say that watching a 30-second clip of that made me reverse my decades stance. My decades-old stance on gay marriage was reversed after watching that because he is a full-blown degenerate sex pest, and frankly, I think he should be in fucking jail. It was absolutely shocking. 10 pints of fucking bleach. Just not even happening. Look at them. Look. Anyway, it's hideous. So we'll call it there. I can only take so much misery. Right. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. I'm not at work tomorrow. So I'll, see you tomorrow. Happy days. Tune in then. Bring me some news if you want me to talk about it. All right. Cheers. Toodle pip. Like it and share it if you can be asked. Susan certainly won't do it, will she, the raddled slut? See you tomorrow. Cheers.